I had tried so many different careers before coming here, and it wasn't creative, it wasn't cool, I wasn't motivated. I was always looking at the clock when I wanted to go home, you know what I mean? But once I came here, it was 2 weeks into classes, and like I instantly knew this was like the route to go. And yeah, once I came here, I came here because I wanted to be a barber, but about like a month in, I decided I threw barbering out the window and I wanted to be a hairstylist and work in a salon. Like to the point where I was giving away my men's cuts to other students to just focus on long hair. And yeah, I finished school in November 2020. I started in the salon the next day, and it was a beautiful salon back in Niagara and St. Catharines, and they really taught me how a thriving salon operates, and how the employees are treated, how to compose yourself as the manager of a team. And I found out I wasn't invested in the work. Once I got in the middle of it, in the actual workplace, I wasn't motivated to push further on coloring and everything like that. It wasn't clicking in my head for some reason, like I thought it would. And so I kind of fell in like a little bit of a low, and that's when my family hit me up and was like, we've been in New Brunswick for the last 3 years and we think you'd love it. And I was at that point in my life where I was like, okay, yeah, screw it, I'll move out there. I lived in Niagara for my whole life up until last year. And so August of last year, I moved to St. John. And while I was packing, I decided I needed to go back to the root of why I got in this in the first place, which was barbering. And yeah, so I started at a barbershop out there, and I was quickly met with the realization of the reality of a lot of barbershops. I was used to showing up to a job first day, you know, like bringing my tools, whatever, doing a trial run, signing some tax forms, getting on payroll, whatever, right? And I pull up there and points at the station, set up, start working. And which was cool, but it was not what I was expecting, and it was a very small, old school Irish barbershop, 3 chairs, and you know, in a very old school city, St. John. And I also didn't feel like I fit in there, but I absolutely loved the work. So I knew that going back to barbering was what I needed to do, but I still was not happy with the space, and I started looking around St. John, New Brunswick, and I realized every single barbershop here is the exact same. And they're all stuck in like the 90s. Even though St. John, and this is kind of where I'm segueing into being able to recognize an opportunity and not hesitating to take it, because I started looking around to see where my future in barbering in New Brunswick could be, and all the shops were the exact same. It was cash only, old school, like, you know, macho man cave kind of style, which is cool, but I did not fit into that. I fit into a salon, but not the salon work. But there's no barbershops like that out there. And I also realized that not a single shop in the entire city took debit, online booking. Like they were all the same theme, like the hours were all over the place. You could Google a shop and it says they're open at 11, show up at 1 o'clock and they're closed. No explanations, anything like that. And yeah, so I realized that there was an opportunity to open my own shop and do things the way I wanted to do it when there wasn't an option at a different shop. And I introduced all that stuff. I found this beautiful space by just walking around. I saw it for lease sign in the window. It wasn't even listed online, of course. And I called the number. I walked through 2 days later and I signed the papers and got the key. At this point, I'd been in New Brunswick for about 6 weeks before I got the key, I believe September 9th. And then October 1st, I opened a 5-chair barbershop, completely outfitted with a full staff. And I didn't know anybody out there, but word spreads because I was the only barbershop posting online, advertising, putting money into Google ads and having a website and all this stuff. And it's just, there was such a lack of that market because the majority of the population out there is like under 45, but all the businesses aren't catering to that for some crazy reason. And yeah, so it was just a very unique opportunity, but I recognized it and I hopped on it right away. But it was also a huge divergence from where I thought I'd be coming out of school. Because like I said, I spent the majority of my time here doing braids and updos on mannequins in my free time. And then, a year later, I'm running a barbershop. So like, you don't gotta feel like whatever you focus on while you're here at school is the end all be all. Like, you can change it halfway through and still thrive and succeed. But yeah, it's been an interesting ride, just like managing a team of barbers and looking at it from the perspective of a barbershop owner instead of just trying to succeed yourself behind the chair. The work is a lot different, but at the end of the day, like, I'm not looking at the clock anymore, finding out what time I'm going home. I'm just there. I have to set the boundary for when I have to leave work so I can go home and actually get shit done at home. Because I'll just keep going because we love the work, because it's creative, it's artistic, and there's not a lot of careers out there where you get to love what you do and have the opportunity to make a shitload of money doing it, right? And it doesn't have to be that hard. It didn't even cost that much. We did everything ourselves. The only thing I hired someone to do was put the vinyl graphics on the walls and the windows. I rented scaffolding, painted the walls, I hung up the chandelier. The 5 mirrors we got, Walmart, $500 for all of it. We made the stations out of old kitchen cupboards and painted them black. You know what I mean? We made the front desk out of, whatever we got at Home Depot. Like, it, for that whole shop and how beautiful and grand it looks, the entire thing, including first and last month's lease, didn't cost more than 12 grand. And made that back in 2 months. You know what I mean? And we've been open for 6 months, and we've got so much distance to cover still. And there's so much I'm still learning. I've never run a barbershop before. I have no idea. But from what I learned here, like, it's okay if a lot of it doesn't click with you right now. But the thing is that it's landing somewhere in the back of your brain. And when you get into the situation where you need that knowledge, it's gonna come creeping back out and it's gonna help inform your decisions, subconsciously or not. And I think that's one of the biggest things I took away from being here, is that like, I knew that I needed a school environment to get into this industry, instead of just like the usual apprentice route. I knew that wasn't gonna be for me, and it set the foundation for everything. I would not even have found this career without Eikonic the way that I did. And there was a lot of lucky situations that helped me find myself in St. John in this beautiful shop, but it wouldn't have worked if I wasn't prepared with the knowledge I got here and with the knowledge I went out and found along the way. And yeah, I mean, like, if anyone has any questions about opening a barbershop, please ask. I'm an open book, and it's all very fresh in my mind. Because like I said, I'm still figuring it out, but so far it's gone way better than I would have expected. Because like I said, we're fully staffed and all the barbers are making a good amount of income that they're happy with, but there's still room for growth. And that's more than I thought I could say for being open for 6 months. So yeah, it's been a wild experience, but I wouldn't have been able to take on that opportunity when it presented itself without everything I learned here and along the way. And some of the most valuable information is from each other too, because everyone's got different experiences. I can't tell you how many things popped up along the way that I got from one of my classmates, just through conversation and connecting and keeping in touch afterwards. Since I've been back, I've literally visited everybody, Moses and everything. And yeah, it's been a wild ride, but yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to come back and, you know, share the story to see if, you know, maybe it helps inform any decisions that you guys are faced with along the way. And yeah.